The city elects a former socialist performance artist by the name of Edie Rama as mayor. And Edie looks around at the problems that his city has and he goes, I have nowhere near enough budget. And his garden hose solution says, you know what, we can afford some paint. And they did. He spent like 3% of the city's budget, and they went out and they bought a bunch of paint, and they painted those old Soviet-style housing blocks these really fun and interesting colors like this, right? To the point where, and after they painted them, these actually became sort of an attraction. People wanted to come down and see them. And the people who lived there were now kind of felt good about living there. They felt proud of that. I'm pretty sure the plumbing still sucks in there, but it looks better. And it feels better because of that, right? So again, the power of a coat of paint. Now, Edie was elected mayor several times, and in 2011, I believe, maybe a few years ago, he was actually elected prime minister of Albania. So, you know, former socialist performance artists, there is hope for you politically there as well. But again, I recognizing that there is certainly a power in a coat of paint. This one's kind of fun because of how the city actually reacted. Check this out. We'll get sound here in a second. Maybe. Why aren't we getting sound? There it is. So I asked a friend of mine who worked in graffiti mitigation for the city of Largo. I showed her that video, and I asked her, was the city sort of playing along with that? And she goes, no, that's kind of what we're taught to do. Use absolutely the minimum amount of paint to actually cover something up. It's like, okay, there's power in a coat of paint, but let's actually use a little more paint there from the beginning. But again, I think that sort of underscores that point there as well. But you know what? Again, as I said before, the solution to graffiti is not a blank wall. The solution to graffiti, better graffiti. So let's figure out, okay, the murals, instead of just selling them as, you know, as public art, which they are certainly, but we're spending a lot of money on graffiti mitigation and cleanup as well. What if we channel some of that money into the other side of that, to the creation of these murals? We might think, wow, we're actually saving some money because this is costing us an awful lot here just to clean up the tagging. And believe it or not, the taggers actually do respect quality work. So there's power in a coat of paint. Let's rethink failure. Interesting. Okay, failure. All failure is not created equal, right? There's what's called, I would call competent failure, and there's incompetent failure. Competent failure is what got us to the moon. Competent failure is, you know, we prepare, we do our homework, and for whatever reason, the rocket didn't launch. We learn a lot from competent failure, right? Incompetent failure says, you know what, we didn't prepare, we didn't do our homework, we deserve the F, and we're probably going to get fired, right? We deserve that, right? But again, we tend to lump all failure into one big bucket. And here's the thing, as elected officials, failure is really hard to sort of overcome, to justify, you know, there, because again, people are scrutinizing what you guys do. And if something fails on your watch, even if it was, you know, for all kinds of reasons, it's still, it's like they're going to point to that, and they're going to primary you on that. That failed on your watch, right? So again, because of that, we get very comfortable with the idea of incremental improvement. We get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, as opposed to, you know, every now and then, I kind of want us to swing for the fences. I want us to maybe try something a little bit new and a little bit different, and maybe be bold around that. But again, I get that it makes us a little bit nervous, because again, we've made all failure the same. We need to have a conversation about failure in places. And part of that is, we need to get over this idea that all failure is bad. And you know who's actually a great model and great exemplars of competent failure? The business community, right? There's lots of people who want to talk and have the conversation that they'd like to see government run more like a business. Like, okay, well, if they're talking about something like this, then I totally agree with them. Because think about this. Go talk to some of the most successful business people you know. They're going to say, oh yeah, I did this, it failed, I did this, it failed, I did this, it failed, and I went broke, and I did this, and boom, I'm a success. What they did is they iterated on a series of competent failures to, again, get them to their place where they actually are now. Now, we don't allow government to do that. Well, why not? Because again, we learn a lot from competent failure. It's like, so I think we need to start owning our failures, especially, owning our competent failures, and he's trying to make that point to those who would decry what we had done. It's like, well, why did that fail? It's like, yeah, but we learned this, and we learned this, and by the way, we could have gotten to here by not doing this first.